headset.
I got a webcam, so get ready for some sweet, sweet Florinda love on the webcam.
Oh boy! Hey, by the way, Esme.
So now Florinda can do ASMR.
Oh gosh.
I was looking for sound effects last night for the show, and I was looking for like wood sound effects, and I thought maybe that's not the best thing to put in the search bar. And all I kept getting was like men sitting in a chair, like hitting pieces of wood together, and it was like ASMR. And I'm like, I was more grossed out by the like of his mouth.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like, why are you slapping your lips together while you're hitting, like, wooden knobs together? That was really disturbing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go with the music. I'm just gonna go with what we mentioned before. This is getting a little too weird.
By the way, I got a whole story. I got a whole story about my freaking power supply.
Okay, real quick. I have one quick question for Esme.
Yeah.
Are we keeping track of the overall episode number as well as the season 2 episode number?
I think I want to start that way, but I really have a feeling it's not going to really work out that way.
Okay, so what was the last episode of Rated Ark we recorded?
What are you guys' thoughts? Should we do like season 2, episode 1, like start over?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of a clean sweep, we're coming back.
But I don't want to like lose track of how many episodes we've recorded total, kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird. You know how to do math?
Yes, so I do know how to do math. Thank you.
Okay, then you should be good.
So we'll put in parentheses 67.
Hey, that's great with me. I like it.
We'll
Anything before season 2, episode 1 is prior.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, all right, cool.
So for my own purposes, what episode is this?
This is season 2, episode 1.
Thanks, Esme. That's not what I meant.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
It's all a blur.
Is it all on the Podbean? Let me look.
Episode. Yeah, it should be on the thing. Season 2, episode.
By the way,
yeah,
I do want to point one thing out.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of argument.
Oh, good lord.
That you did say season 2 for Rated Extra, but still called it episode 14.
Oh, I know. I did that.
Oh my
Consistency.
god.
Is it there?
Consistency.
Hey, I came out of the
my
vagina
God.
inconsistent, and that's how I'm gonna die. I swear to God, like, I am a nitpicker's worst nightmare. I will give you lots of material.
Nobody wants consistent vaginas. That's just... nobody wants that.
I'm not sure how we got there, but okay. So thank you.
We love you too, Willektron. If you didn't point it out, Criikette would, so... Yeah, here we go.
Right, 10 minutes late already.
Okay, so we have City is introing the show, so I'm going to hit the intro right now.
I'm wearing my birthday suit, and I got a luscious blonde wig on.
Oh shit, I'm eating freaking narco berries now. I am not doing myself any favor.
Might have bit off more than I can chew here.
There's a bad one in this bunch. You guys want me to teach you about mushrooms?
I am so close to death. I've got a broken leg.
The only way that you survive is by being smarter than some of the other people.
What the heck? It's digging holes in the ground? It's digging holes in the ground.
Fresh spawns, veteran tamers, and all survivors in between. We'd like to welcome you to Rated Ark, the Ark Survival Evolved Podcast.
By the way, this is explicit.
Welcome, survivors, to episode 2, Fantasy Island. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wrong show. This is the Ark Survival Evolving Podcast. Today is March 1st, 2018, and we are a CRR Gaming Group hosted podcast. So that means the voices can change each week, but the discussions and the roundtable discussions will always be about Ark. We have many ways you can contact us to share feedback, tips, and adventures. You can reach the show by emailing ratedark@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at ratedark on Twitter. You can grab the RSS feed and get our show notes, www.ratedark.com. And you can apply to join us in-game at www.crossrealmrebellion.com. And first, we'd like to introduce everybody here tonight. This is City. I wanted to be in at least on Season 2, Episode 1. Hopefully I can stick around for some more.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to turn it over to who's next in line here.
Leave Esme.
Okay, go.
Oh, right. I'm Esme. We're just going to share our hours in game, too, if you guys want to do that just for fun.
Sounds great.
Yes, right? I am Esmeralda. You know, you may have remembered me from last season. That I have 3,434 hours in Ark so far. And
So far
Felloon.
being the operative word.
Yes, I'm Felloon. Gonna be regular on this show, and very happy to do that. I've got about 3,500 hours in Ark.
All right, Criikette.
This is Criikette. I'm back for the show. I got, according to Steam, 2,902 hours, but I know some of that is idle time, but around almost 3,000.
What happened to Foe?
And Foe. I didn't see him on the paper, so I was giving him some time.
You guys are all a bunch of crackheads.
I know.
3,000 plus hours. What is the matter with everybody?
Hey, I thought it'd be fun.
I have 3,225.
Yeah, exactly.
You just, because ours is bigger than yours, you just didn't want to share it with us. So I know how this goes.
Exactly. I had to be like, call you guys out. You guys, crazy addiction.
I never get to size my penis up with other people. You guys get to your whole
I rounded mine down, by the way.
You can,
yours is just inverted.
I know, it'd be really weird. But, alright, so we're gonna go with Goon.
And this is City. I got 2,811.
Oh, hey, City. Goonie. Let's see if... Oh,
Hey,
yes.
I have 2,309. Barely started playing at all.
Hey, this is just inspired by our fellow Ark podcasters, the archaeologists. They do a podcast on YouTube. And I always think it's cool when they share their hours. Because you like to know who wants to take advice from somebody being like, I'm on an Ark podcast. I've been playing for 2.5 hours. Get out of here. Go away. Go to the bathroom. So, yeah, I just thought it'd be fun. Jeez.
So yeah, I'm Willektron, by the way.
I'm Willektron.
And I feel rather inadequate. I have 431 hours in Ark.
Hey, you're better than the 2-hour guy I was just talking about.
Oh yeah, my
Fast learner and a
son
great public
reminded me
speaker.
the other day when I was looking at my total hours that's 2,902 on PC Ark. I also have a bunch on Xbox Ark.
Well, there you go. There you go. See, he's a professional at this, sizing them up stuff right here. Starting to see a little pattern right now.
Wait. I forgot. I forgot.
I have no idea what this is going to do.
I forgot all the times I'm at work and I daydream about Ark.
Yeah.
So really,
yes,
I got more about 4,500 hours.
That does.
Oh, when you count the offline time when I'm pulling out the graph paper and drawing things for Ark, then it adds up even more.
Okay. Anyway, it is 9:15. I'm going to try to help keep us on track here.
We're going to do our loot drop, which is our time for shout-outs. Here we go.
Shout, let it all out. These are the shout-outs we can't live without. Oh yeah, come on, yeah. Rated Ark's talking to you, you're talking to us. Yeah, time for shout-outs.
Wait, was that like a weird version of Bobbert?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my new favorite intro.
Drunk karaoke
That's
night.
by far my new favorite intro.
Okay, so I didn't scour anything because we've been gone for so long, but I do want to say, I believe it was Justin Tata wrote us in and wondered, where are you guys at? So we would give a shout out to you, Justin, for checking the pulse with us, man. Want to give some love to our Twitter follower, American Zombie. He has had a little bit of a rough go in his RL, and he was really excited that we were coming back. So we hope that you're doing well and things are looking up, and thanks for checking in with us. And thank you everybody else who is still listening and playing Ark and or not and still liking to listen. We want to give you guys a lot of love.
You know what's crazy?
What?
I actually got a couple of private messages also from people on Facebook.
No, did you?
And because on Facebook, I go by faux render on Facebook. So I guess some people took the time and looked up faux render, and they sent a few PMs wondering what's going on.
Creepy stalkers.
I mean, if you make your Facebook name the same as your in-game name and your radio name, I feel like you're going to, that's kind of part of the package.
Well, there you go. So are you going to share any of them with us, or are you just giving them a general way to, thanks for checking in?
I'm giving them a general thanks for checking in. And because I don't have, my Facebook open because I don't want to be rude to the podcast.
Oh, that works. All right. now we're going to
Is it your computer broke?
I think he picked it up. I think he got it back.
Oh,
I think he got it all fixed.
Can we take a quick 1 second tour? Quick couple of seconds. So I'm all ready. I get my computer. I go pick it up. I walk it back to my house because the shop is like 4 blocks away. So I carry my tower all the way back home finally. So amped to play Ark. I was trying to play on my laptop. Me and Fel were up until like 3, 4 in the morning one time, and this would not load on my laptop. And I'm so excited. I get it going. I turn it on. The power supply goes on and goes right back down.
Oh, man.
So the power supply that this yokel put into my computer was a bad power supply. It wasn't the same one. It wasn't making the grinding noise, but it powered on. Literally, it gave me a little tease. It showed me my Windows symbol for like a second and then just snapped off.
Oh, gosh.
So
wow.
I stormed in there and I was like, you made me wait all this time. Just give me my cash back. So I returned it. He didn't want to give me my money back at first. He's like, no, I got to give you a store credit. I'm like, a store credit? You're a repair shop. So what? So I get more of your shoddy repair service? No, thank you. I don't want your store credit.
Exactly.
So
that sucks, man.
After, just telling this guy I refuse a store credit, he eventually gave me the cash back. And I was able to leave there. And I just went to Amazon and I just did it myself. I hooked up with a Prometheus and I freaking just sent in for one myself. That's coming tomorrow. So I'm getting a legit Corsair power supply tomorrow.
Cool.
And I'm just going to install it myself. I don't even know why I didn't do that in the first place. What a pain.
Well, it's a good thing that, old Promo was there to help you out and get this situated.
You know what that did do? Since I was on Amazon, I was like, might as well get a snowball, Mike. Might as well put that hand while I'm here.
Yeah, Amazon will do that too. It's just like, I was going to buy this thing, but I want this thing now.
Exactly.
Other people who looked at this also bought.
Yeah.
Yes. I hear ya. Well, cool. Congratulations. So I think you'll probably have that back faster than what it took you to. You've been waiting forever, for like months, haven't you, just to get this other situation fixed?
Yeah, and then when I looked it up on YouTube, I was like, why didn't I just do it myself?
Yeah,
it's so
it's
easy.
pretty much like a plug and play, right, kind of a deal.
That's it. You just plug in the stuff to your power supply and you're done. I don't even know why I didn't do it.
Well, now you know. It's all a learning experience. All right, like this intro right here.
Fresh from
I just really upped my game on these intros.
That was intense. I got nervous.
That's a brush for the forge. This is about PixArk. Have you guys read up on anything like this? The PixArk game?
A little bit.
PixArk info is from is from an interview between Player One and Snail Games executive producer Peter King. I just pulled out some information from the interview that I thought was interesting because they're not going to tell you this stuff right in the little description of the game on the websites. So PixArk also differs from its predecessor by making conscious attempts to be less of a time sink. They're saying that now the funny thing in this article is that the Snail Games executive producer Peter is kind of like throwing shade a little bit, in my opinion. Like they see all the things that are kind of hard and time-consuming in Ark Survival Evolved, so they're like, PixArk is going to be so much better than that, because he said a typical 12-hour wait time to tame a Giga, for example, it will just be a few minutes long in PixArk, and a 2-hour trip to restock gasoline will be replicated as a 15-minute diversion. The short burst philosophy ties into Dino ownership too. Now this I was reading on the forums, there's not a lot of people happy about this part, but I don't see like it's that big of a deal. Unlike Survival Evolved, tames in PixArk will only last for a maximum of 3 days. It's a tweak that Peter King thinks will rectify one of Ark's biggest design flaws. He envisions a path that makes dinosaurs easier to tame, but with a limited duration gain. And he said that we felt like the whole dinosaur farm concept was a poor design choice because it encouraged players to stockpile hundreds of dinosaurs for no reason. It created the scenario where players felt compelled to go online and feed the dinosaurs or they would die. He said having an attachment to your dinosaurs is great, but it'd be a lot more fun if you had to tame raid-focused dinosaurs before each raid, he explained. In this way, PixArk strives to address lasting issues that both Snail Games and Studio Wildcard acknowledged during the upcoming game's development process. So what we're getting with PixArk then is a game built as an homage to Minecraft that encapsulates only the best and most digestible parts of Survival Evolved. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I kind of like this. I kind of think it sounds cool. I think that sounds really cool. And is this going to look like a Minecraft type game?
Yes. Yeah.
From the pictures I saw, it kind of looks like Minecraft Robloxy type feel to it.
The only thing that I see on this whole thing that I have an issue with is up in that first paragraph there, where it says you ride a mighty T-Rex and you blast your foes. Foe, how come you're not taking offense to this?
I'm all right with it.
No, I think he should go along with this.
He likes being blasted.
Because I'm the faux render, because I will rend my foes.
Render? Oh, I forgot that part.
Actually, Goon and I were having a conversation just this evening. I was like, you know what? I wish Ark Survival Evolved had graphics like World of Warcraft. Because I'd be like, you could play the game and your machine won't be like chugging along the whole entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's has to do somewhat with optimization too.
I know, but it's easy to optimize a game like World of Warcraft because the graphics, it's like this way easier to optimize. So I'm guessing that this, Minecraft looking Ark will be way easier on someone's machine, and you'll get a lot more people to rock out everything on high graphics because it's not going to be super high graphics anyway.
Well, if you think about it,
World of Warcraft is a finished product, and we're still in early access.
Yeah.
No, we're out.
No, we're not.
It's early release.
I know. It's still the going joke.
Okay.
You change one power supply, and now you're a computer expert.
I was gonna say actually though, isn't this coming out on the Switch as well?
Yeah, I tried to find that article for that and I couldn't. It is coming out on the Nintendo Switch because I know we were talking about it in Discord and we're all really excited. And then I was trying to find it and I was hoping one of you guys would add it.
Hey, I got it.
Happy you did.
I've got a link for you.
Awesome.
That will get me to buy a Switch because if I could play that on the train and like at work, that would be cool.
Yes.
That's Stardew Valley. It's breathed a lot of life. Stardew Valley was doing really good anyways, but the minute it hopped on that Switch, it's like took off. So I imagine this is going to be a thing. The funny thing is when you said, Phil, that you wish that it had like a World of Warcraft kind of graphics, it's funny because it's like they went from one extreme to the other and they forgot the middle. You don't have to go all the way to Minecraft. You know what I mean?
I know. Why are you dumbing it down like all the way? Right, exactly.
Right, I agree with you. Because like there are games like that already, like Minecraft, and even the one I like, Portal Knights, is very much like that. It's kind of already been done, but with these other graphics, it would have been better. But I guess they're going for ease, maybe. Or the fact that it can be on the Switch. Or, maybe that's just making it because Stardew Valley's pixel, like that is. So that's that. And we're going to hop over. Oh, he did put the Switch in. The link is in the show notes if you guys want to check on that. And also, you said that there was, the Ark Park VR Criikette.
Let me back up just a little bit. I gotta, I'm the old timer in the group. Back in the 70s, when my parents got us a console, everything was side scroll and very pixelated.
Right.
So, when I go through and I look at my like Steam queue or whatever that is, you go through and you look for different games, and a lot of games are these pixel style or they're side scrolling games, and I'm like, man, I want to go back to the 70s.
Yeah, I can see where that would be annoying.
But PixArk was in my my Steam queue, and I looked at it and looking through all the pictures, it doesn't really look that bad. And I mean, it's still Ark, it's kind of cool. It'd be a nice cool change. I think I would like to try it out.
I think so.
Although it's like, but they do want to cut off all the things that like take a lot of time. I'm just curious if that's going to be too much. Like if they go that way too much, because
I think so.
There are things that people like to do, like mating dinos. Like if you're gonna have something for like a few days, I guess you're not gonna mate them. You're not gonna have the whole mating, and you're not gonna have the mutations. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be taken out of the game, which aren't a lot of players aren't gonna like that.
Or maybe what it is you will be mating, and essentially instead of using the dino that you tame, you'll just be using its bloodline forever and ever. So you mate it, and then you have its son or daughter for 3 days, and then you get that one's son and daughter. So that way you're eventually playing with the whole bloodline of the thing as it goes through. Maybe that's what it'll be. You could do it like that.
And I don't know why they have to be all or nothing again. Like, why can't you have at least one tame dino to call your BFF, and then have all the other frickin' stuff, the raid specific dinos? Like, why does it have to be, you only get this for X amount of days and they're all gone? Because there is something to be said for people. They do like that. They do, like every game that I play, I like to have that pet that follows me around. Like, we're in Aberration, I like to throw the bulb dog up on my shoulder, or we like to run around with anything, like even in the on the other maps with like a Pego or a Compy or something. And like, why you gotta take my dinosaurs away? Like that, I think that will get old for me. Because I like to get attached to at least one dinosaur. Your main dino.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree. That's something with me too. I like to have a couple of key dinos I love.
Did they say anything about your character? Is your character gonna be respun up every 3 days as well?
I don't know. He didn't go into that much detail, but I'm hoping this is supposed to come out in this month. So, I mean, it'll be released in early access. That's what I mean. But it'll hopefully.
I'm going to mess with it for sure, though. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'd be probably interested in, too.
Yeah, and hopefully they allow you to host custom servers and stuff like that, which I'm sure they will, if not right away, eventually.
Well,
so are you guys not hearing me at all in TeamSpeak right now?
No, we can hear you.
Right now we do.
If we're responding, we can hear you. But otherwise...
Yeah, essentially when you're going on some of the, I don't want to say long rants, but the long...
when I'm reading the
long speech and you're reading it, it cuts out partway through most of the time.
I wonder why. That's so weird.
I don't know, we're being really, really quiet so you can edit it, though.
Sorry. Thank you.
Well, no, see...
Well, I think if you get one of those new mics like Foe has, it might fix it.
I have that mic, so I don't think... I
I thought it might have been a TeamSpeak thing.
Foe.
I don't know.
Send it back.
Yeah. All right.
Take it to the repair guy, Foe.
Cancel the order. Cancel the order.
Criikette wanted to add something about the Ark Park VR.
Yeah, when you were talking about Pixark, it reminded me that I just noticed about a week or two ago when I was looking into getting a Vive, which did just come in yesterday. I was working on setting that up before this started. But I saw about Ark Park VR, which comes out the 22nd of this month. So it's a spin-off. I only know a little bit about it. I'll try to look into it more for next week. But it looks like it's a spin-off of Ark, where you're going through kind of like, I guess like a zoo with the dinos and maybe some more things like that. I don't have more information on it yet, but it's something I'm definitely going to look into now that I'm going to have the VR system. So I can talk about that later.
That looks like the type of game that you buy to like show off your VR to your friends.
Probably, yeah. I believe we have talked about Ark Park briefly
when it
before.
First was announced, I remember we did. But
they pick up that poor little baby dino and like throw it in like one of the scenes. This was so funny.
Yeah,
but I think they've even changed a lot of stuff
soon,
too.
So, 3 weeks from now, it'll be out.
Awesome. Well, cool. I'll be interested to actually get your feedback on it because I didn't know you had a VR system, so that would be cool.
Like I said, it just came in yesterday for me, so I have not gotten a chance to play with it at all. I'd mentioned it at on the Rated Extra that I was looking into getting it for Subnautica.
Right.
So that was one of the reasons I'm getting it, and I finally bit the bullet and bought it. So
awesome.
It's like tax return. I'm buying it.
That's cool. All right, so we got some changes in Ark to catch up on. I just made some quick bullets. I went through the show or the patch notes because they're really long now, but a lot of it's little weird stuff, than what we were used to back before we, took our hiatus. So, on the 10th of February, turrets were hard numbered, limited to 100. This means that you will not be able to have a build over 100 turrets within a 10k unit radius. However, existing setups with over 100 turrets will still function as normal until the 18th of February. So this has happened. when they will enable the hard limit, which will retroactively disabled and randomly selected. That will suck. That probably
That's funny.
Suck. Oh god, turrets that are over 100 limit from functioning. There's the patch notes and all that jazz. You can check on that, but hey, it's already happening. February 26th, they released some information that Extinction servers are now called Ark Apocalypse servers, and they will be offlining some additional legacy servers on March 9th. So in 8 days, if you are a player on the official Legacy Server network, please read the full post in the link that we have included for more information, because it might be yours and it's being taken down permanently.
Because your shit's not going to be there when you get back.
I know, right? That's so horrible. They're like, it's a legacy server. It's going to be gone forever. That's what that means. Fortitude now provides some resistance versus the effects of the Rex Roar, and this resistance carries onto player-ridden dinos too. The Giga is no longer raged by fall damage. Cooldown added to tribes changing. There's a cooldown that has been added to tribes changing their name, and I looked, and right now nobody from the forums, nobody can change their name at all. But there is a cooldown, and I've seen a lot of complaints where they can't change it. So it's like, instead of being like there's a cooldown, right now it's like bugged so that you can't change it at all. But I mean, really, you know. And then a common question from Primitive Plus fans is about the lack of content on Scorched Earth and Aberration. They addressed it. They said for the TLC patch number 2 in March, they will finally be properly introducing the content to these maps so that Primitive fans will be able to take full advantage of the game modes on these maps. So there's that. And I did, like I said, looked at the patch notes, and for once, like, this blew my mind. It looked like PS4, PC, and Xbox all had the same notes given. So I just added the recent ones that Fel had shared in our Discord earlier. They were all the same, so that's cool. I never thought I'd see the day when all 3 consoles had the same patch notes.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'm so happy about the switching your names of the tribes.
Are you so happy about that?
Because
we're really that happy.
90% of the reason why people even did that was to be a little shyster snake. Exactly. They can't be man enough or woman enough to stand behind their name and raid stuff. They have to switch it and then attack and then switch it back. They're too much of a punk where they're afraid to get some like recourse. It's like, play the game. Like, stop being a freaking baby about it. If you're gonna raid and fight. Like, don't raid and then not want to be raided back.
Own it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna change my name because I'm a little
meow meow. I want to do bad things but not have consequences.
It's just like offline raiding.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Like that. So the patch notes. Does somebody, Willektron, do you want to read these current Ark official server network server patch note thingies? Is that a no? All right. So is he gone? Or no? All right. Current Ark official server network servers. The patch notes fixed an exploit that allowed players to get through the map mesh. Fixed an issue where a second instance of certain boss fights could be started while someone was already inside. Rework extinction mode, save nuking to kill subfolders as well. Increased plant projectile damage by 2.5 times. Projectiles do 3 times damage to durability of chess pieces while a glider is attached. Added logic to translate damage from player to their glider. Added 10-second cooldown between glides, and lowered the glide speed by 40%.
Oh boy.
Seriously, like...
I agree.
Let us glide. Like, let us glide. Like, what the hell?
It's like I keep saying, the damn PvPers are screwing it up.
That's crazy. Yeah, so it's once again the broad brushing of the PvPers. We've talked about this before. In every freaking game, there's PvE and PvP. They always are lazy and try to screw the pooch on everyone. Like, oh, Tommy talked over here. Well, everybody gets no recess today. It's like,
but what can you do? But what can you do with a glider that you can't do with a flyer? Like, I don't get it.
Well, Aberration doesn't have flyers.
Yeah,
so
in Aberration there's no
probably
flyers.
What is gliding is pretty fast, so it's probably a way for them to just bypass all of the turrets by gliding in there. And I'm guessing since they put a cooldown, then they're probably something with gliding and falling and gliding again.
I'm hoping that they realize. I just really wish they'd find a way to stop screwing everybody over because of something that's because I went to hit my
stuff with a lot of bells and whistles and magic and all this stuff, and then PvP people just want to be balanced.
Yeah,
let them go be balanced on their own time.
Exactly. What the hell? All right, so and there was a tweet directly for PS4 survivors. We are currently investigating an issue. This was yesterday. We're currently investigating an issue affecting our PS4 official servers. Please stay tuned for more information. Ark transfers have been temporarily disabled while the team worked on the problems. And then they followed up saying that they did identify the problem and they were preparing to deploy their PS4 official servers with a rollback. So if you play on PS4 and you log in and there's a rollback, this is why. They said they're getting everything ready for the rollback prior to the deployment, which was before the chaos. So they say sorry for the inconvenience, everyone, and thank you for your patience.
No one likes the words rollback.
I know, no. So, we will also be talking about the TLC Dino Phase 1s that are coming out, and Willektron, you're going to get us started.
Yeah, I was super excited about this. This was originally going to be, this is one of the things I put in for the segment I wanted to talk about, but I think it's kind of cool that we expanded it to have everyone read a little bit about it. So, this is a little bit of, not really old news, but news from back in January, where they started talking about the details on their Dino TLC patches and TLC passes, I should say. Excuse me. But I'm kind of excited about this particular one because this is an animal that I enjoyed using a little bit when I finally found and caught one. But they are doing a pass on the Procoptodon, which is basically the giant kangaroo. So it got a model update, an animation update, a sound pass, and some new abilities. It's going to take reduced fall damage. The carry weight will be noticeably increased. It can carry small creatures and baby dinos in its pouch. So that'll be cool. I think there was something about you being able to put baby dinos in there to keep them from dying and stay protected and all of that kind of thing. So that's kind of nice. I don't do much breeding, but maybe Criikette can chime in on that, and or Felloon. They added an aim jump, which can be used by holding down the jump key, which I'll have to mess around with that a little bit once I can find another one, because I'm not really sure what they mean by that exactly.
I can speak to that if you want.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
I played with it. Basically, you hold in the jump key, and then it gives you your crosshairs, and then you aim where you want to go, and it jumps pretty much to that area in a parabolic fashion. So it's a lot easier to aim to go where you're wanting.
Oh, that's really cool.
Kind of like when you're shooting a crossbow or whatever, you can kind of aim where you're going. So it makes it real nice. Cool. They also did the same thing to the Gigantopithecus, which we'll talk about next.
Awesome. The next thing is that carried characters in a pouch have reduced food consumption rate when carried by mate-boosted female Procoptodons. So I'm assuming that means you have to have a male and a female near each other in order for that to go off properly. Yeah, I agree with that. Someone's typing that it's an odd choice to make it that specific. Yeah. That is a very specific set of requirements. And the last new feature that's added is that babies are imprinted while in a carried babies that are imprinted while in a carried Procoptodon pouch receive more affinity. So actually, just for a second, I'd like to talk a little bit about the different model on the Procoptodon, because before. It was kind of interesting looking. It kind of had almost like a teddy bear look to its face, especially. And now with this new pass, they've changed it so that it kind of looks like a real animal, which is I'm super appreciative of. So
it's in the show notes. There's gatherer.
What was that, City?
Oh, it gathers stats like crazy.
I can't wait to see a little Jaboa sticking its head out of its pouch.
Yes.
I just can't wait.
All right, and that is it for the Procoptodon.
Okay, I'm going to go read about the I can't say that word.
Gigantopithecus.
What is it?
It's the Gigantopithecus.
That's a Bigfoot. Anyway, it receives a model update also, animation update, has new fur, a little more detailed, sound pass, and some new abilities. You know, I've never tamed one of these all the time that I've been playing, so I think I'm going to have to now, especially since they've introduced them on the Aberration server. I think it'd be kind of cool to see them going on the zip lines. Anyway, they'll receive an armor degrading attack. Wow. This means when it fights, it'll do more damage to your armor's durability. Well, that isn't any good. It is important to note that the armor degrading attack will not affect the Yeti creatures found in the game, which I haven't found those anywhere. It added a capability to climb zip lines, but not jump between them. Oh, that would be cool if they could do that, like swinging. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it added a jump feature. It can now carry and throw small animals. I wonder how small. Throwing has been made more accurate, similar to the crabs with the targeting cursor, and probably the kangaroo now as well too. Anybody got any more comments on that?
Pets.
Yeah,
I like that you could also pick up jaboas and throw them at people. This just makes me happy.
Or you know, a big monkey can hold a little monkey, the Mesopithecus, and you know, towers of monkeys.
Yeah, and then he'll have his own poop thrower.
Exactly. In fact, I think that was in one of the intro videos they had for the TLC patch, was that they had one of the Mesopithecus on the shoulder throwing poop.
So one thing to note about the Bigfoot carrying one of the shoulder pets is the shoulder pet can be damaged while it's on his shoulders by just normal attacks. Unlike most things that are on your shoulders, won't get hit when you're attacking like a dino or something like that. So just something to watch out for if you're using that. And the way that you pick them up and drop them while you are riding the Bigfoot, you will hold in the C button. Since your right click is throw the rider, the left click is a normal attack. So it's the C, the tertiary button is the one that's
hey, Felloon or Criikette, do either one of you guys have one of these?
Oh, I have lots of these. If you had looked at the Discord earlier today, I just bred about 20 new ones.
They're adorable too, man.
Oh yeah, I did see that picture.
Isn't that adorable? The little pack of like teeny tiny babies. Oh god, they're so cute. I agree. I think it was Maloriums that said they should have a mod that makes them stay that small. That would be adorable.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I don't know if we have a spot set up to put images or videos for the podcast, but I can drop that up there if we. Okay, just put in the show notes.
Yep. Awesome. And I didn't plan on it I just threw your name in here, Fo. I didn't know that it was actually lining up with your most favorite animal in the game ever.
Yeah, I looked at that.
I figured that was a setup.
I totally thought you did it on purpose.
Nope, it just landed that way. So it's by fate.
Why? It knows.
Your name,
it knows.
It's fate. So your turn
to
share.
Bear. Everyone's favorite, my favorite, the Dahlia Bear. You guys all know I'm a bear head. I love these things. So they're going to look a lot cooler. They get a model update, new animations, new fur, so they'll be even more cuddly than they were before, and some new abilities. So if you're like ever running around and you're like, hey, know what I need? I need some honey. But know what I hate? Getting stung by bees. So what you do is now you could jump in your Dahlia Bear, go to the beehive, and the bees can't bug you. They literally can't sting you or knock you off your mount. You could just sit there and whack away at the beehive, collect all that sweet, sweet honey. And you get 3 times the amount. You're going to be swimming in honey. You get so much honey, you're going to be able to walk up to people like, hey, you need honey? I got you.
Take my honey. Forearm.
So is a bee voiced by Jerry Seinfeld going to sue us then?
I hope not. I hope not. And then what makes this even sweeter, they could swim faster now. So now you could jump on the bear, go grab some honey, and dip into the water before anyone even knows you were there.
Right.
So that's really cool.
That is really cool.
And speaking of swimming speed, the Bigfoot actually is a pretty fast swimmer too. I don't know if it always was or not, but I was pleased by it.
Awesome. All right, Fel.
Well, the other night.
Oh, go ahead.
You skipped me and my direwolf.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know why.
You keep skipping people tonight, Esme.
At the clock, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, we've had such
Criikette
a rough night. We're almost at 10 o'clock, so I don't think we're going to hit our goal tonight because of all the craziness that the stupid TeamSpeak and Nitrado, but... All right, Criikette. Direwolf time. My apologies.
For the mother, or the highest one, now there's a howl button with the howl activates the pack buff, and when the alpha, the highest level of the pack, howls, then the rest of the pack will also, you'll see them do an animation that will howl, and that will it'll strengthen the alpha and the pack. So you'll see cool. their little fiery, alpha type graphic on them at that point, but they don't get it all the time anymore. Also, they have a passive buff called Hunter's Instinct, and basically as creatures, or I assume people as well, get less than 50% health, you start to see a cross. It's like a little shield that it starts off. I think it's a yellow cross when they're under 50%, and then it gets darker, more shades of red. So it gets the different shades of orange, and then it goes to red as they get lower and lower in health. And then if it's dead, it'll actually be a white symbol, and it shows up. It seems like it's pretty far away, and you can see it through rocks and through trees and all that. So it's kind of neat to be able to actually hunt things down when they start running and all that. So it's a pretty neat ability. And then it's a new sniff trait, which is a tertiary ability, which, again, you use the C button for that, kind of like some of the other new abilities they've added to things. And it will show you nearby explorer notes or buried or stealth creatures. I know it works for Purlovias that are buried. I'm assuming it works for basilisks, and stealth creatures I'm assuming is stuff like the camouflaged rock drake, but I'm not certain because I didn't test that to see. Mainly because the rock drakes are not native on the same areas where the direwolves are, so I never got a chance to test that, but I assume once they start getting into the same area, they'll be able to see each other. But that's it for the direwolf updates.
So, Criikette, did you test how it works on the Purlovias and the Basilisk?
I did not. I want to say I did test on the Purlovias at one point, but I can't exactly remember what it looks like. But I did not test on Basilisks because, again, they're not in the same. Basilisks are aberration and wolves are not.
I was just kind of curious what the graphic looks like, because once you know what a buried Purlovia looks like or a basilisk, to me they're hard to miss. So I don't know if it increases the range, gives you some kind of a graphic that kind of points at them, or what I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see what that's like.
A lot of these Dino TLC stuff is really exciting. I'm really happy to see that they're going through with this, because even though we didn't get to celebrate the launch of the game and all that exciting stuff that we wanted to do but we didn't get to do, this is kind of like a runner-up thing. I'm really excited to see that the dinos in the game are actually getting these little buffs and these little special things that make them stand apart. So I'm excited.
We've been talking about these for a long time too, if I can remember, if I'm remembering properly.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so cool to see them actually do it.
Now, if only they'll do their primal survival thing or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. All right, Mr. Fell, I believe it's your turn.
It is. Okay, so I'm gonna read what's coming up next for the Rex. So it receives a model update, animation update, and some new abilities. Its roar should receive a cooldown and make non-allies under a certain drag weight poop to act as a small stun interrupt. There will be a cooldown on victims, so they cannot be poop locked continuously. Yeah. So, and I was thinking, geez, it'd be really cool to start up a business where you can just go over to a neighboring tribe. They pay you to roar when everybody's out, and you can collect a lot of poop. Now with the cooldown and the fortitude, I don't know, it may not work.
I think this is awesome.
Anyway, the roar will not be able to scare anything above its level, and the roar will cause players to poop but not stun them. And then Rex's ability to climb over small rocks and steeper slopes have been improved.
I love it. I love the humor that's in it too,
Yeah.
Because if a dino roared in your face, you would crap yourself, and I think it's cool that they are adding that in the game. That's really awesome.
They also didn't mention it in the notes, but most of the people that I was seeing that were doing reviews of these said that the Rex also has a much better turning radius than it did before.
Oh, cool.
So just better mobility in general, I think, which is a good thing since the Rex is used a lot, but it has issues trying to get around places.
Now the kicker is, did they keep it so that it goes through the Dino gates? I haven't tried it to see, or if you have to actually have a question. I know, I'm curious now. I'll have to check. Oh, right. So I did include the YouTube video for the Dino TLCs. If you guys haven't seen it, I put that in the show notes, and then we have the link to all this jazz in the show notes. We're going to be moving on. Mrs. Scarlet Fury, foe, she got in her diary entry for you. So, you better dust off those vocal cords, because... Wait a second.
I don't see it in the show notes. That's what I just said.
Oh, it's there. I think you might just have to refresh it. It's right after our Dino TLC stuff. I pasted it in there now.
Oh, you just did it. Okay.
Yeah, I just did it because she got in TeamSpeak and poked me to let me know that she just emailed it and she forgot. So they're here. And here is our favorite Scarlet intro.
If you're in the mood to kick back and munch on some kibble and drink some old Luminance crazy concoctions while listening to a great tale, you've come to the right place, I reckon. This is the Scarlet Fury Diaries.
Hi, I've done many things in Ark. Sailed the seas, flown through the skies, stalked the lands, and been killed hundreds of times along the way. I decided it was time to hatch my first wyvern. I know that many of my fellow survivors have done this many times with ease. I can now put wyvern hatching on my long list of things I'm not good at. Firstly, stealing eggs while flying a Petrodon is extremely difficult. Once I stole an egg, I got back to the base and promptly ate it. I had to go back and get another one. Then I had trouble hatching it. I didn't have air conditioners and so lazily settled for campfires. I got stuck on them and was burnt to death. This happened twice. Then finally, my wyvern hatched. Thankfully, I raised it without a problem. I went into this endeavor hoping to spice up my life, and boy, did I get what I wished for. Yours truly, Scarlet Fury.
Aw, thank you, Scarlet. It's good to get a diary entry from you, Scarlet. And what's also good is getting back in the saddle with my BFF Goon, my roomie, my roommate in old Ark. Are you ready to talk about the basilisk?
Sure.
All right. Well, hey, let me find our intro. Where's it at? Oh, here it is.
Come on down to Dinosaur City, your one-stop shop for health and all your plots. We got Dino to cover all your needs, from arms to alarms, from intimidating to intimate.
Well, hello there. Look at you being all sexy, staring at me with those hungry eyes, like you could just eat me up.
So come on down to Dinosaur City. We can help you to help yourself pick the Dino that's right for you. And remember, we have a special every week, and this week's special is...
The basilisk. What are they?
Basilisk.
What are they?
Basily.
An aggressive carnivore that waits hidden underground for its prey to approach before it springs out in ambush. Criikette, take it away.
So once you learn what you're looking for, it's kind of like the Perlovia. You kind of can't miss it, but it's a dirt pile with these 3 spikes that kind of stick out from it.
Oh boy.
That they actually have a pretty far distance before they see you. I remember when I first saw one when I got on the server, it was right next to one of the charging stations, and I was just walking up, and then all of a sudden this huge snake, it's probably about 5 times the size of a Titanoboa in girth, and not quite length, but in girth, and it's pretty big. And then it has a ranged attack, which is nasty to watch out for. It's sort of like the poison wyvern. It shoots a poison spit, and then that will explode into a cloud of poison. And I wanted to test it before I put the notes in, but the gas mask does seem to work, and having a full hazmat suit, I didn't test with just the helmet, but having a full hazmat suit also helps to not take the poison damage when he shoots you with it.
Well, there's some big ass snake. I'll tell you that right now.
How do we tame these things, Goon? How do we tame them?
Well, the Dodo X user tip is you get yourself a Ruptry, a Draconis, a Spinosaurus, or any other creature usually ignored by this creature. You dismount it, gain its attention, and then mount again. Drop a fertilized rock drake egg from your inventory, and proceed just to circle around the basilisk until it loses interest in you, and wait for it to eat the egg. Do this at an interval and repeat.
And on the Dodo Decks and the Ark Wiki, it says that they're a passive tame. Their preferred food is the fertilized rock drake, which I think you're right, Criikette, because I've noticed some discrepancy with, like, it literally is just a fertilized rock drake egg, but on a lot of the sites it's like, that's what it prefers, or it just says fertilized egg. It doesn't specify fertilized. Even Dodo Decks was off their game on that.
Because I remember when Prometheus first set up his server, when Aberration first dropped, I think it was Promo or somebody else, I can't remember who exactly was testing and trying to name one of these things, and was using a lot of different types of fertilized eggs, and it didn't seem to eat anything until they finally got the rock drake egg. So that's why I think that's the one that it actually eats.
Yeah, that seems to be. So for some reason, like, a lot of the internet stuff that I've seen has not been updated to just the fertilized rock drake egg. But in the Dodo Decks user tips, they do specify that. So it's out there, but don't think that just any fertilized egg is going to do. There's also, they can be found on the Aberration map. And it says that I was hoping you guys might have a little bit more information about it, because it says that it spawns at an uncommon rate in the portal and rarely in the edge areas. They can damage thatch and wood. So are there other areas that you guys find these in more? Because I want to say that Malorium tamed one the other day on our bottom area. Is that considered the portal, like where we started on Aberration? I think it was like the fertile something we live in. The fertile lake, or what was it?
There's actually a spawning area called the Portal, and it's up in the area where you see a lot of the metal and the tech areas. And if you go to that area, I don't know how much you've explored, but you see kind of Stargate-looking things, and so that's the area that's the Portal. And yeah, it seems like in that area is where they are more common than other areas. It's funny that one of the kind of more deadly creatures spawns in the fertile zone, which is the green zone, and less often in the blue and red, but I seem to find it most in the green zone.
Yeah, what I noticed when we had our first Aberration map up, when I was playing around with these, was they like to spawn up in these really high ledge areas. There's just a lot of them, and I think that's probably why they hang out in the portal area, because the portal area is kind of a upper area, ledgy type place.
Oh, okay.
But I see them on the smallest little ledges. I've seen them on the kind of orangish looking crystals that are poking out the sides of the walls. But they also spawn along the river too. But,
wow.
Yeah. And what a lot of that makes me wonder, though, is it seems what I've noticed, and I think others have, is a lot of times when stuff spawns in, it seems to kind of drop from the ceiling. So I wonder if it might kind of be a bug that they're spawning in the green zone more often, just due to the coding mechanisms of spawning, and they land and then they burrow right where they're at. Oh. So I wonder if that's why they show up in a lot of the weird areas. But I mean, it might be intentional, but it might also just be sloppy coding that strikes again.
Well, you see a lot of dinos that land on top of the big tall mushroom trees. That's pretty hilarious. We've talked before about how there'll be a dino up there. It might be an ankylo or something like that. You go cut it down, and it just sits there. It doesn't fall to the ground.
Yeah, you chop the tree and it's still hovering. Yeah, I could see where that would be a thing.
And back when Prometheus had his map up, one day I think Bo and I were watching a roll rat that looked like it was climbing the side, and it would like burrow into the tree. Yeah, that was crazy.
All right, so Mr. Goon, I think you have another Dodo Decks user tip to share.
Yeah. Aberration survival rule number 1. If you see a strange bee in the ground, run for your life and don't look back.
And I have a Dododex 2. Number 2 user tip. They added when it is underground, it does use stamina, which means it cannot be underground permanently. It is extremely fast when it is underground and untargetable. And when underground, it will be blocked by structures such as walls, foundations, rocks, etc. So have you guys found that to be true too?
Yes, you can't actually go like underneath a wall when you're riding underneath it. Will block it.
Oh, okay. And you had some more information to add in, Criikette.
Yeah, my tips are just some of my own tips. One of them is when you're riding underground, if you are actually riding it, you'll notice that your oxygen is being consumed. So don't get drowned when underground.
Oh, that would be really bad.
But also, I've seen people report that if they're riding their basilisk and they're inside water, like inside a lake or a river floor, and they burrow, that they've fallen through the mesh and their basilisk has basically fallen to its death.
Oh, and, no.
That is, very nasty, especially if you're on official servers or anything like that, where you don't have access to admins to try to recover it or anything like that. So just, because I've noticed that when I've used admin commands and ghosted under the mesh, that underneath the water, it seems like there's nothing. Whereas underneath the land, there seems to be a little more give of, not falling to your death. So just watch it if you're burrowing underwater.
Do you lose your stuff when you get drowned in the ground?
I haven't tested it.
Just like, how would you get your stuff?
Go.
Like, how would you get it?
It would be gone.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to your corpse. I'll have to test that later.
And would your snake die too? Or can you whistle it, maybe?
The snake actually doesn't die. I never noticed that the stamina actually goes down while it's just burrowed. I mean, if you're underground, if you're burrowed and moving, then yeah, its stamina's going to go down because it's moving. But you can go and you can just, radio wheel it and tell it to bury and underground, and it will stay underground as long as you want. So the snake won't die if it's underground. It can be under there for as long as it needs to be.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I have not tested to see what happens to your corpse if you die.
Faux science. Get back with us. Get back with us.
I will.
We have a new tip segment hosted by Mr. Felloon, and here we go.
Okay, we thought it'd be nice to add a series on admin duties, tools, and server setup. So I worked out a series on that topic. And first, kind of a question. It's probably like talking politics or religion, but I'm going to do it anyway. So what does it mean to be an admin? And, obviously this is my opinion, and I try to model myself, and how I try to model myself, and is really what I like about the various admins that I've been around. So, basically, the probably the first and foremost thing is that you serve the community, which means that you could be in the middle of something that you really want to do. I mean, let's say you were at work or at school or whatever, and you had this thought about what you were going to do when you got home, and you had it all planned out, and you start going, and somebody has a problem. It's just part of the game. People still get stuck. They have Dino issues, or the game glitches, and you get their stuff back. It's just part of the deal. So it's about helping the other people that are in the game, but not too much. Don't give them everything, but yeah. So anyway, the first tip is if someone is stuck or their Dino is stuck, it's easy to get their Dino back if they are mounted. And then the admin can teleport that player to him, and that is if they can be mounted. If not, then it's back to ghosting and stuff like that, which is kind of crazy. Or it can be. It is.
It's a huge pain in the ass sometimes.
It'd be nice to be able to just teleport a Dino to you, but
exactly.
Yeah, and it's so much easier when you're teleporting people to use Show My Admin Manager. That you could probably type that out, but why type it out and type out the Steam ID 64 number that's gives you carpal tunnel before you're done? Just go to Show My Admin Manager, select the command, select the person, and then execute it. It's pretty easy. And that's all I had for this.
That is a good tip, and it will definitely, if you're adminning the server, you will run into this a lot. So that's a good place to start. Good place to start. All right, we're going to be moving into tip time where we're going to fire off our tips and then close out the show. And here we go. We have a punching trees tip from Goon.
I need that wood.
I guess I'm punching some trees.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, my punching tree, when you first arrive on the beach, a lot of people start off building a little shack, which is smart. But when you reach a level 16, consider building yourself a raft. A raft will take you away from a majority of the dangerous animals on land. And it's also, a great starter house. You can go around, you can gather mats easier. If there's nothing in your area, you can move down the water to find a place where it has the mats that you need. You can use it for a quick getaway if something's chasing you. You jump on, the raft will outrun most dinos. You can put foundations down and make a nice shack. Put all your crafting tables and your forges in to get you a good solid start. Just remember, you don't want to venture too far out of the water because I can't even pronounce the lead whales.
Lead zickies.
Oh, the lead zichthys,
I think. Lead zichthys.
Yeah, the whales. Well, actually, they'll hunt you down and destroy your boat. Which you've seen firsthand.
Yeah, I think that happened to the first day that Esme went out on a raft after they were added.
Yeah, because it was Goon and I were like, hey, we need to make a raft, and we need to go find the nearest leads, and we need to see what happens. Let me tell you.
Wasn't that when we were on playing on that official 36 or whatever?
It was primitive plus one.
Oh, right, yeah.
We were doing official primitive plus, and oh gosh, it was fun. Definitely want to have a bonus raft in your pocket, though, or something. If you plan on going out to test it, to faux science it, you want to have like a bonus raft so you can just pop that puppy in. But you want to wait. You want to swim away a little distance and then pop it out and then get out of there because it's a little sketchy.
Yeah. Well, the only thing with the raft, though, you have an 88 structure limit. And I think the limit is only 8 walls high, as high as you can go.
Yeah, it's not that much. Yeah. I wish there wasn't a limit to height.
And it doesn't go in reverse. But you can hide the sail by hitting the E key. You hide your sail and hide it or show it however you want. Most times you want to hide it, it makes it easier when you're building onto it. And if you happen to get stuck in a river or something, look under it for a rock or log you might need to break to get free. It's usually the problem. And then any animals that can use a platform saddle will not go on a raft. They slide right off the side. So the parasaur, the quetzal, anything using a platform saddle cannot go on a raft.
That's a good thing to add. I'm glad you added that.
Now, I've only used rafts a little bit, but they are not affected at all by weight. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's no weight limit on them.
That's my thought.
All right. So we're going to move on to Pimp My Hut. I'm sad I didn't come up with a Pimp My Hut intro, so we're just going to have to do our generic main topic.
Willektron! All right, so I have a tip for the Pimp My Hut section, which you might find interesting because I have not been known up to this point as being a proficient builder.
So true.
But I've wanted to start, and I started messing around with S Plus a little bit, Structures Plus, on Felloon's Ragnarok server, and I found out some interesting things about how it works. So if you've messed around with Structures Plus at all, you will notice that the snap points can maybe be a bit wonky. I mean, if you played Ark at all, you can notice the snap points would be a little bit wonky. But specifically with Structures Plus, if you are building a multi-story house and you've got your foundations down and you build a couple, 1 or 2 layers of walls, and then you put a ceiling on top, if you then go on top of that ceiling and you try to put another wall on top, it will try to snap to one of 2 points. So you if you're not really paying attention, you start putting walls down, and then you look at it when you're done. It's like, oh, well, my wall's uneven. Some of them are higher than the other. What the heck? So I did a little bit of testing, and I found out that it's because both the ceiling and the top of the wall just below it have snap points. And it's something of a toss-up which one your new wall will pick to snap to. In fact, even if it shows that it's going to snap in the higher position, sometimes it will snap to the lower one and vice versa. Which may be more of an issue with Ark than with Structures Plus, but having multiple snap points in close proximity doesn't help much, unfortunately. But I did figure out a couple workarounds. If you want it to be flush with the top of the wall below, and this is the easiest one to carry out, build the third level of the wall before placing the ceiling in the gap between the two. So you build your two walls, build a third wall on top of it, and then put the ceiling above the second wall that's there. And that's the easiest way to keep your building consistent. All the walls are the same distance, and your ceiling just kind of sits in there between them like they normally would. Now, if for some reason you want to bash your head into a wall, for lack of a better way of saying it, and make them be taller and sit on top of the ceiling instead of on top of the wall below it, then what you can do instead, and you're really with this way trading one set of problems for another, but what you can do instead is to put up your ceiling, and I think let me read this directly because I can't remember off the top of my head, but use pillars to place the ceilings before the wall below. So build one wall, build a pillar, place the ceiling, place the wall on top of that ceiling, and then build the wall in below the ceiling. But unfortunately with that method, it's a toss-up whether the walls below will decide to snap to the bottom of the ceiling this time or the bottom of the wall above it. So you're really just trading whether your top wall is crooked or your second wall is crooked. So the only way to really have it be consistent is to do the method where you just build the three walls and then stick the ceiling in the middle. Now, I did find out that this is not an issue with vanilla structures. If you are, with both of these methods, it all snapped in the same place because I decided to go ahead and try it. And regardless of whether I placed the wall first or the ceiling first or whatever, it all snapped to the same snap point. So this is something that's limited to Structures Plus having slightly different and multiple snap points.
Does it, the snap points, have a cycling button? Does it Q and Z?
Yes. So
cycle
Q,
through?
I think Z may do it. Q definitely cycles through, but the issue, as I mentioned above, is unfortunately it doesn't always snap to the point that you've chosen, even though it shows that in the hologram, which is frustrating.
Yeah, I was having this frustration, and a lot, which I was venting the other week about. I've also noticed that S Plus has some other things we could do whole segments on S Plus versus vanilla. But one thing in particular that I've noticed that I sometimes actually use vanilla for instead of S Plus is you can snap vanilla fence foundations onto ceilings, whereas the S Plus doesn't snap onto those. So you can kind of do some neat things when you put the fence foundations on top of ceilings, because then you kind of get two snap points. So you can kind of double layer some things and get some neat architecture and all that stuff, but can go into that type of thing in another episode.
I guess they're assuming that you don't need a fence foundation on the ceiling since there's always already a snap point to put a wall there, is what I would think from that. Yeah, maybe. Probably.
All right, so we are going to move on to where were we? Oh, Mod Spotlight. Here we are. All right, Mod Spotlight. In the spirit of the craptastic dumpster fire that is the nerfing of the gliders, if you run an unofficial server or the admin and you want to annoy them until they add this mod,
hint, Felloon.
That happens sometimes. There's a mod out now, which I said, and Felloon knows, I called up, like, this will totally mean that there's going to be a classic gliders mod.
No kidding, that's so funny.
I know. When they jacked us over with the flying and the flyer nerf, boom, classic flyer mod. And I'm like, oh my god, this is going to happen. So, and I looked, and woo, it is here. And it is made by Eru, Elemist, and Teriri on on old Steam, and the mod ID is 13156944497. It adds an additional item, Iru's classic glider skin. The glider skin as it was prior to the 278554 patch. It requires learning the standard glider to unlock, which is 0 engram points, craftable in the player inventory with standard resources. Projectiles do not do 3 times damage to the durability of the chest pieces while this glider is attached. Pending the review. It says no added logic to translate damage from player to the higher glider, no added 10-second cooldown between glides, and no lowered glide speed by 40%. So pretty much the proverbial middle finger to Wildcard saying, suck it, play unofficial. Do not play official with these PvP standards being forced upon us BBers. And
get your glide on.
Get your glide on. Get your glide on. Now I'm earworm. No, thank you. But hey, so check that out. It is the classic glider, Iru's classic glider skin. So check that out, and I put the link in the show notes.
Get your glide on.
Get your glide on.
Yeah, because I definitely did notice the 10-second cooldown.
It is stupid.
When I was on today, I'm constantly jumping and doing little glides and going through, and well, you can't do that anymore.
Sucks. Stupid. All right, we're going to move on to Taming Pen with City. Here we go.
That's the most powerful trank gun on the market, huh? Got her in Mexico. Cool. Yeah, it is cool. They say it can puncture the skin of a rhino from 100...
Ow! Oh! Yes! That's awesome!
All right, City.
What the heck was that, man? You didn't have the right gear on, did you?
No!
Oh, so anyway... I was curious as to what everybody wears. I know there's not too many different outfits, so to speak, but myself, I wear a combination of gear when I'm on aberration, and have to change into fur when you go into the really cold places, and you got to get in your ghillie suit when you're trying to tame a tapajara, or however it's said, or if you want to get some honey and to keep the bugs away. Unless you get a bear, and then with the new bear thing now, it's really cool. But I'm just curious what everybody wears. I mean, fans out there, whatever, send in your stuff that you hunt in, that you farm in, that you sleep in, and we'll go from there.
All right.
I go for a mixture. I mix my stuff up.
I do too.
So do I.
Yeah, I've always been a ghillie man, and so I usually always had a lot of ghillie on, and I've definitely noticed that. I'll usually try to get 1 or 2 good pieces of ghillie that has a lot of hyperthermal insulation, and that way, it'll keep me from being a fireball on the different maps while I'm wearing my other stuff. And then I put in whatever flak and riot I have for the armor bonus itself.
I get my riot gear, and I upgrade that as much as I could get. And then what happens is normally you become a fireball when you riot is like high level, you'll get a big fireball. So I wear like a ghillie suit stuff to like offset that. So I try and wear the hands and the helmet because I could reskin the hands and the helmet to look more like mix with the riot suit better.
Yeah, and I wear the scuba pants a lot because it just makes my butt look so good.
So I've also been wearing the desert gear. Since we have Ragnarok and we have access to the desert stuff, just because that's similar to the ghillie where it has you can get a lot of hyperthermal to it, and I just like the look of it as well. It looks it looks like some pretty cool gear to it.
That's what I started doing too. I started wearing my desert gear on aberration. It also helps with water, so that's pretty nice.
Ah, good point. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Because I have been wearing it, and the water really hasn't been that much of an issue for me. As well as, it not only helps with water because it has that built-in water retention, but just because you're not a fireball.
Right.
You're not going through as much water. But yeah, because what you were mentioning about the higher level riot is actually becomes more of a fireball because of the way the multipliers are. Since it has a negative hyperthermal, as it starts getting better, it multiplies at negative, by
that's
numbers,
why
so it becomes
I have to wear
bigger and bigger negative numbers.
And that's why I have to wear the ghillie suit helmet and the gloves so I could offset that.
Anyway, I thought that was a good topic to get some feedback on, and everybody here is doing their own little deal. That's kind of cool.
And first of all, City, your character 90% of the time doesn't even have pants on. So I know what you're talking about.
I've thought that the other day. I've been running around without pants, and I felt I was honing my inner City. Because I remember that too. I'm totally pulling a City right now. My spirit City.
You're honing it anyway. Sorry.
Yeah.
To regulate the heat cool thing, that's all.
I'm telling you, I hear you. I had to run away to go to a bathroom break, but I found that I've been rocking out just cloth because I'm just getting killed or I've been doing dangerous stuff, and it seems like I always run into the dinos that's like, your gear it just breaks my gear the minute they look like we were taming the Valentine's Day dinosaurs. Oh my God, we haven't even said nothing about those. So quick shout out to the, wild card on their Valentine's Day dino stuff. That was amazing, in love. But I had this Kentrosaurus down, and I'm glad I only had cloth on because I'd be really pissed off. I was sitting there and I shot a really cool Kentrosaurus, and I shot the jackwagon one that was going to attack me. And I'm chopping it up for me, and I just break all my shit. And I'm like, oh my God! I was so mad. I didn't even think. I forgot getting back in game that it's a no-no. You do not attack even a knocked out Kentrosaurus. So I'm cheap, so I wear cheap gear. Unless I know I need it, I just run around like City now, either half naked, mismatched clothes, or in cloth. Maybe it's the old City. I don't know. But maybe City's changed.
Nah, you missed it, but I wear scuba pants a lot. It kind of hides the knees and still makes my butt look good.
Yeah, there you go. See? Check you out. Cool. I don't know. Did you guys already share your gear while I was gone?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I was curious. Well, we haven't enraged. Somebody is enraged here, so we're dusting off all these old intros from season 1 in the very beginning. Here we go.
Okay, just gotta do this one thing and I'll be done. What do you mean I can't do it? It's not letting me do it? I just want to do this one thing. Man, this stuff stresses me out.
Who's the lucky dog that's enraged?
That would be Felloon. So, the 10-second cooldown on the glider is really, really irritating. But it's not so much that as it is a lot of the things that, I really tried hard when I was writing this down to not say it the way I said it in Discord the other day, but the very last word is kind of reminiscent of what I was saying. So things will change because of PvP imbalance, and then it affects every server, including the unofficial servers. So what would be nice, in my opinion, is to have a switch there. I mean, just put a switch in there when you change it, because who cares? When you're talking about PvE, does anybody really care how fast that thing glides? I mean, that it needs a 10-second cooldown. There's other things. The list is kind of long, but if you put that in there, leave it in an INI file for the folks that didn't want to live in Weinersville.
And the funny thing is, it's, we just talked about the tribe, them changing the tribe names, and obviously that's another PvP thing being forced on everyone. That has been, when you Google tribe names change in Ark or whatever, you'll get 2 years posts from 2 years ago, okay? This shit was just added. These gliders just came out, in December? And they're already get rid of, they're...
Yeah.
So, I don't know, because one, I'm just getting back in the game. None of us play official PvP. So, if any of our listeners have some feedback, but from where we're sitting in the PvE world or whatever at this point, because I'm just getting back in game myself. I haven't gone and done the official PvP like we try to do. Please let us know, because we are obviously missing console players at this point coming back for season 2, and we're also missing a lot of the aberration PvP life. So we don't know, but it's still not fair that it's broad brush.
Right, and back when we had Extinction Core up, they changed where you couldn't take tributes and trophies across servers. We had one of the whole reasons for having 3 maps on Extinction Core was so that it would be easier to gather the tributes and the trophies. And so, it's just like killed the one of the main reasons for having a cluster. And so I made the mistake of getting on Twitter and saying, hey, how about putting a switch or something in there to allow tributes and trophies to be carried across server again. And the barrage of hate that I got for that was just unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
And I think it was because I didn't clarify and say that it needed to be on an unofficial server.
Oh.
Because obviously on official PvP they were having issues. Whatever that issue was, I was totally impervious to it. All I knew was that I was on an unofficial server, and we had a cluster that was totally killed by that change. No switch, no nothing. But we did find a mod later to take care of that. But geez, why have a mod?
Right.
Just put a damn switch in there.
Yeah, and it's more or less, you're talking about have that option for a server owner, right? Have that.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So
being able to put
just
that
the same. It'd be the same way for this glider, or for the tributes. And just allow them or don't allow. A little check mark or a little equals yes or equals true or whatever. It just would be fine.
Yeah, and here's somebody else that was on the survivalark.com, just to toss it in there, that agrees with you. It's Wagon Bomb. Wagon Bomb on survivalark.com. They have a little post in there, but they're essentially they're allowing griefers to just spam pick you up so you can't activate the glider again. Because they know you already did it, so they know you can't do it again. Where that case, my rock drake would be dead right now and all my gear would be lost. It's I guess the point where I was making, they spent 2 years to make it so that you can't change your tribe name at all, apparently, right now. But, it's only, March 1st, and they're like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're gonna nerf the shit out of the gliders right now. And it's but, as Wagon Bob points out, it's also... They think they're fixing one thing, but now they're just making it easier for griefers to grief another way. You're always going to have... PvP is just always going to be a
Well, guess what?
That's just what it is.
Now you can only have 100 turrets, so...
Yeah.
They don't want you flying by the 100 turrets.
Exactly.
Okay? So, you can only have 100 now compared to 7,000 turrets on a server.
So that's how they're just...
The alphas were like, I'm so bored. Maybe take down a couple of turrets
but do them
and
randomly.
You'll get some action.
but
no kidding.
Randomly? That is a headache. Oh my god. No wonder why they're wiping these legacy servers. It'd be horrible. I wouldn't even want to touch that. That'd be horrible.
The randomly just makes me laugh on the inside.
Yeah, the randomly is just crazy.
You got those alphas that have 200,000 turrets. I'm
yeah.
Oh no, which one's turned off?
Randomly. That, honestly, if I were them, I'd be just wipe me, because this is ridiculous. That's such a punishment. It's such a punishment. Oh, but yeah, all right. I feel you, man. I'm really interested to see what comes of this. Obviously, nothing will affect us, because there's mods and there's all this jazz, and we're not PvP, so whatever, but I really feel for the official peeps that this really sucks. We're gonna move on to Dino Sutra.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you feel it? Oh, sorry. Criikette.
So my big tip here is about the S+ mutator and the hitching post. Is part of what it is, but it's also more than that. Since, as you can tell, we're using the S+ mod on the servers that we're playing with, and it has 2 neat additions to it. One is the hitching post, one is the mutator. The hitching post is a structure that you can put down, and as dinos are close to it, you have an option on the radio that allows you to hitch them to it. What this does is it makes it so the dino cannot move, whether it's on follow, whether it's on wander, whether it's riding, it just will not move. So it allows you to put things on wander and allow them to hook up or do their mating dance and all that. So it's a nice feature. You can put them all together and have them mate. If you want, you can have them mate all the time and just get the eggs, because the S+ has other features for automatically picking up eggs. But more so, the mutator, it's a tech a tech level item, and what it allows you to do is you can send off pulses that do different things. But the main one that I use it for is it will send off a pulse that will guarantee that you get a mutation on the dinos that are born under it. But what this means is that I don't want my dinos to just always be breeding whenever their cycle comes up. I want to have a controlled breed. So a little trick that I've started doing recently is I have all my breeding dinos on Wander, but what I do is I have them follow me, and if they're on the hitching post, they won't move at all, but they also won't breed because a wandering dino that is on follow will not breed until you whistle to stop. So what I like to do is I would just tell them all to go on follow, and then I set off the mutator, and then I whistle all stop key, which is the U key. But one of the plans that I'm planning on doing, I just haven't gotten around to it yet, is having my breeding area that's outside my normal base, because then I can just use the J instead of right now. I tell them each individually to follow me, or I use the tame groups, which I don't know how many people actually use those. It's one of those features that came in, partway through the game's life cycle, and allows you to use your numpad, your 0 through 9 keys. And when you have one of those activated, it only whistles your global commands to certain subsets of creatures. It's not to everybody. You can do it by individual dinosaurs, or you can do it to say this entire class of dinosaurs. So you can go up to your featherlights, and you can say add all featherlights to my 6 group. And then if you hit the 6 on the numpad and then whistle all follow, only your featherlights will follow. Nobody else will follow. So that's another way that you can set it up so that you tell them all to follow you. And then have them on wander, and then when you tell them to stop, then they'll actually mate. So what I've been doing now also, because I noticed some issues when I have them all follow me and I log off, they kind of get messed up sometimes, but I just put some other type of rideable dino in the pen with them, and I hop on him and say, everybody follow this dino, and then I leave them there. And then when I'm ready to mate with them, I hop back on the dino and say, stop following. And then they'll start wandering around and making the nice babies that we all love.
That's awesome, because I've been using that mutator, and man, I'm going through Element and I cannot get it to cycle just right. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? So I really like that you brought this up, Criikette, because I'm going to use that. Put them all on Wander and hitch them up, and then just use the follow and then unfollow. I think that's the ticket. You're right on that. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. Because originally what I was doing was I was putting everything on Wander except the males, and then hitting the mutator. But then I'd still have to go through, if I'd have 5 different types of creatures, I'd have to go through and activate all those males in the time, and then it takes time for them all to do their mating sequence. And you only have, I think it's 5 minutes that the pulse activates, and a dino just has to be conceived during that time, either when the egg is laid or the mammal type gets pregnant. It doesn't have to actually be hatched or born. It's just that conception time with the mutation.
Yep, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, does that mean it's time for last call?
I think it does.
It's closing time. Pack up all those dinos and pack out the real world. It's closing time. You don't have to go, but you can stay here. I don't want you to have too long right now. I don't want you to have too long right now. But it's closing time. Rated Ark is ready to pull the plug.
All right, just wanted to let everybody know that you can join us in the games we play in and out of Ark Survival Evolved at crossrealmrebellion.com. And I think everybody plays a little bit of everything. And you can join us on the Rated Ark RSS feed for our Cross Realm cast, but I might be finding that RSS feed a new home, so I will keep you updated and all that jazz. And thank you everybody for sticking with us and being so awesome on our return. Does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Yes, I have a shout out for the Cross Realm cast, which is starting up tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of which I am a main host. I'm so excited for that. Unfortunately, I will not be there for the inaugural episode because a friend of mine is going out of the country for a month for training. So, and he's having
it's a good reason for you to miss the very first episode.
See you later party, I should say.
That's a pretty lame reason.
So for those that might not be familiar with it, what is the Cross Realm Cast?
So the Cross Realm Cast is our new name for the formerly named Rated Extra. So this is the podcast where we talk about everything and everything, gaming, TV, movies, video games. You know, well, that video games twice. Yeah, I meant to say books there, but anyway,
you got it. You nailed it.
Yeah, got all of it. So we talk about everything, and sometimes we even throw in a little Ark there as well. But if you are interested in more than just Ark, join us for that.
I'm excited because I just found this new, and I was telling everybody before the show, this new podcasting host, and it's through anchor.com, and I think I'm going to load up our Cross Realm Cast on that because guess what? Our listeners can download the Anchor app for free on Apple and Android devices, and they can leave us voice messages.
Ooh.
So not only is our podcast hosted there, you can talk to us there, and you can find other podcasts there. It's like a win-win. So, and it's free.
Ooh.
So I know, right? I'm so excited.
Sounds like it's worth checking
I love voice messages.
I know. So our listeners can go download Anchor, hit record in their little mobile app, send us whatever they want. You can do a lot of heavy breathing and send it to Foe. And
he will return in kind.
I'm so excited about this. I just found it all about it today, so I think I might fire it up and get us a little home over there for a Cross Realm Cast. So that'll be cool.
Maybe if you have something interesting to say, we can play it on the podcast.
Yeah, because we can add it right into the show, and I'm super excited about that. I'm really excited, so that's cool. So thank you, everybody. I think we didn't do too bad for hitting our time goal. I know.
Well, I think it would have been easier too if we hadn't dropped out like
a gazillion times.
Yeah.
So, but we want to say we will be here every week. So thank you and have a good one. Yep. Right on, City. Wait a minute.
I thought that was appropriate. See you guys. Bye.
Very appropriate. Yeah. Just like old times. See you guys. Bye. Bye. That's always how City always ended. Do you guys remember that? City always ended the show by like, see ya, bye.
You can reach the show by email at ratedark@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at Rated Ark on Twitter. You can grab our RSS feed, get our show notes, and apply to join us in-game at ratedark.podbean.com.